Hey guys, Kyle the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for One Piece Chapter 905. And right off the bat, I gotta talk about the first page with the establishing panel of New Marineford. And we've seen showcases of it before, but for me, just in the way it was drawn, I feel gave I pretty much feel gave I feel gave the entirety of Marine HQ. It gave us a look at just how grand, just how grand and imposing Marine HQ actually is, and I feel it does play into one of Oda's strengths, which is his ability to make a building or location look threatening just as easily as he makes it creative. And it what's funny is he what's funny is that the whole perception of Marine HQ basically looking threatening in that one panel. It was all a perception. It was all a perception thing, and it was done with very minimal means. Honestly, it was it was done through simple choices like Oda drawing the panel with kind of a shifted view of kind of looking up a little bit. It was just in these simple like choices of the way Oda decided to draw it that it made the location of Marine headquarters just so much more threatening, imposing, and just a lot more like, oh, holy shit, I don't want to mess with the Marines kind of thing. So yeah, just a little tidbit I thought I'd mention there. Um, Aside from that, we learn that Fujitora has apparently infiltrated Marijois, so that does open up a whole bunch of possibilities as to what his role will be in this arc. And most people will probably say that he's going to team up with the revolutionaries, but I can't help but shake the feeling that's too obvious, especially with the reveal that he's going forward with his plan to destroy the Seven Warlord system. So I personally feel that whatever Fujitora is doing in Marijois to accomplish this, he's he's got his own separate way of doing things. He's got his own separate plan. He's got his own little kind of like idea. He's got his own little idea of how he wants to accomplish this one singular goal. He's definitely doing. I believe he's definitely going to be doing things on his own in this arc, and it's but yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how he's going to go about really even accomplishing what he even wants to do. Like, I think, and what's funny is that in a way, if you really think about it, if you really think about it, I think Fujitora being expelled from the Marines was probably the best thing that could ever happen to him, because now that he's no longer a Marine, he actually has the opportunity to actually oppose the freaking to actually oppose the Seven Warlords. Like, he doesn't have any, like, he isn't bound by the Marines anymore. He can actually go out and say, I'm going up against the Seven Warlord system. I'm going to destroy it. So yeah, I kind of, if you really wanted to keep, I kind of like, honestly, if you really wanted to keep if you wanted to keep if you wanted to keep Fujitora on a leash, you wouldn't have even expelled him, because expelling him just kind of expelled him from the Marines. Expelling him was the worst thing you could have done in this situation. So yeah, and it was although speaking of Sakazuki, it was funny to see him get frustrated at T-Bone, at pretty much T-Bone for pretty much saying that pretty much Fujitora ended up entering Marijois on the technicality that it wasn't a Marine base. Like, that was, Fujitora is just a straight savage. Like, he's able to get by on this mere technicality. I love it. He just knows what to say. He just knows what to say, and he knows what he needs to do in order to get what he wants. Like, I love Fujitora. I really freaking do. He's one of my favorite admirals. He really is. And of course Sengoku, of course, still being around, and I just love how I love how he was kind of beating on I love how he's beating on Sakazuki by basically like I like how he's teasing and beating on Sakazuki a bit he was basically saying to Sakazuki, yeah, the job ain't easy, is it, asshole? Like that's basic. Like in with Sengoku, the way he was joking around with Sakazuki in this chapter, he was basically just laying into him while managing to be snarky. But it's like, yeah, it is. I guess in a way, it is good to see. I guess in a way, it is kind of fun to see. As much as I hate Sakazuki, I will admit it is kind of fun to see him in these frustrated comedic moments. Like it does show that yeah, even he has the limits to which he can say that even he has the limitations that he can't really do what he would have normally done. He has to sit back and take certain abuse now. Um, and we also see and in that shared and we also see Fujitora sharing. And we also see Fujitora sharing a conversation about the warlord system with the third Admiral Ryokugyu. And god damn it, Oda, how much longer are you gonna keep this guy's appearance a secret from us? Just show us his face already. Like, definitely, I think it's safe to say that Ryokugyu is one of the great. Is one of like okay, he's been like I guess officially revealed now, but his face is still kind of in shadow. So it's like definitely Ryokogyu's like overall appearance is still one of the great mysteries of One Piece. But I have a feeling we're gonna get the full reveal of him in this arc, and it is one of those things where I think Oda is kind of saving his big reveal for the right moment in this arc, and but we do get a little bit of character. But the good part is his appearance didn't go wasted. We do get a little bit of characterization on him, which is that honestly, I'd say just from the dialogue he was sharing with Fujitora, I want to say Ryokugyu is a bit of a lady killer and a perv almost. Like he the way he says it, he basically says, I want to be around. I want to be around beautiful women. I want them to lavish me. I want them to, like, I want them to be at my beck and call I want them to feed me. Like, yeah, like Ryokugyu, he's definitely a funny one for sure. And yeah, like, although that's just characterization. Like, it makes me wonder exactly what this guy's power. That does still open up the question of what this guy's power is, because like if there's like characterization and the way a person acts is one thing, but the power they possess is another. And I think that's another thing I'm kind of hoping we'll get soon is like what exactly Ryokugyu's power is, and what kind of power made him eligible to become a Marine Admiral. Like, you gotta be fucking strong in order to be a Marine Admiral. So, yeah, there's something. So, yeah, whatever this guy's power is, I'm sure it's insane. And I want to know, like, soon. Now, aside from that, if you notice, there's a bit of a continuing pattern throughout this chapter of big news Morgans popping up every once in a while to give his 2 cents on the royals. And if his role, coming off his appearance in Whole Cake Island, and if his role in that particular arc is any indication, I feel he's once again going to be one of those characters that's going to play a major. He's going to be a character that's going to play a major underlying part and role in this arc as well. But this time, I can see him revealing 2 things to the public. The first is whatever the revolutionaries are going to do. Whatever the revolutionaries are planning to do at this reverie, it's definitely going to be big and bombastic enough in order and also important enough for pretty much Big News Morgans to say that. For Big News Morgans to say that this is worth reporting on, and we do get the reveal of what they're planning. That they're not planning to basically destroy the entire government. They want to remove the celestial dragons themselves from the government. Which, honestly, I'd argue it's one of those things where it's a little short-sighted just to remove them. To be honest with you, because if because you basically still have the basically it isn't just the it isn't just the it isn't just the celestial dragons that are at the top. It's also the it's also the elder stars too. Like I'm not gonna. I know that the elder stars still kind of serve like the celestial dragons, and the celestial dragons are basically figureheads and whatnot. But I I don't know if that's gonna be enough. Like I think you'd really have to just dissect, just pretty much destroy the entire government as a whole and rebuild it from there. But then again, maybe. But yeah, like yeah, I'm sure that's going to be enough. And Morgan's like he's going to report on the fact that yeah, the celestial dragons were targeted for sure, and the reason why that should go really interesting. But anyway, I got off topic there. Sorry. That's the first thing is that Morgan's going to report on the revolutionaries' attack on the dragons. The second thing I think he's going to report on is that I feel he pretty much, I'm almost positive he's going to reveal whatever we learn about the Void Century in this arc to the public. Because remember, Cobra has every intent. Remember, Cobra's even said it himself. He has every intention of getting his questions about that missing bit of history answered. And if Morgans reveals anything about that particular event to the public, and anything that's revealed at this reverie to the public, then it could really expose a lot of the behind-the-scenes corruption with the government. So, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I assume that, whatever kind of hit the government is going to take after this, I feel it's going to come in two phases. The first is that the revolutionaries are going to be responsible for taking out the celestial dragons, and whatever Morgans reveals is going to do a little cleanup work by basically revealing the corruption of the rest of the government, like the four elder stars. They're basically going to take a hit from pretty much the four elder stars and the government as a whole. They're going to be the ones who are going to take the hit from Morgans revealing whatever the Void Century gets revealed about the Void Century there for sure. That is, if anything ever gets revealed, because I have a feeling Cobra's going to make quite a few enemies just from asking that one question. Anyway, but that aside, we get, but also everything else here was pretty cool. Like, we get the reveal that Garp is the one escorting Neptune and his family to the Reverie, and it's more than obvious that's pretty much setting up a confrontation between father and son. But what capacity Garp and Dragon will be interacting remains to be seen, and really intrigues me. Like, it would be interesting if it's not necessarily a direct confrontation, but rather a battle of tactics between the two, which would make more sense too, as Dragon has always seemed to be more the type of leader to command his underlings and only go out on the battlefield when completely necessary. And I know we've already seen instances of Dragon going out on the battlefield, like with him saving Luffy, but in a way, I think in his own mind that was still like a necessary thing to do. So yeah, I can't really see Dragon going full frontal going full front onto the battlefield until something major goes down. So yeah, and no lie, I busted a gut. I could not breathe during that whole exchange between Stelly and Garp. And as per usual, Garp has no fucking chill, and he just doesn't give a fuck who you are. He'll call you out on your shit, and regardless of who you are. And in Stelly's case, you can really see how much of a conniving opportunist the little shit is. But although I do really like the implication of how he may have been responsible for the death of the previous royalty, it doesn't, it's one of those things where it doesn't save him from being a total crustfuck, because trust me, he was acting like a total crustfuck in this chapter, whether it was even after his conversation with Garp, but it does add a little more credibility to him, and I gotta call him out on something. Stelly, hate to burst your bubble, but I think for you, being a celestial dragon might be a bit of a pipe dream. I mean, I know, I know that the celestial dragons are basically I know you fit the mold of a celestial dragon, but the celestial dragons basically just look down on everyone, including the royalties of the land, so to speak. So yeah, you're pretty much basically can't. You're basically fodder to them. I don't think they'll ever let you be a celestial dragon, bro. Although I will admit, Stelly's reaction to King Neptune and his family does bring up an interesting thought of how they'll be viewed at this meeting. I wouldn't like the thing about it is that they're still base. Like, of course, Stelly said it himself. He pretty much said what every noble thinks about fishnet, and because of that, I I do feel that there are going to be a lot of leaders at this meeting who will view King who I'm sure there are going to be king leaders at this meeting who will view King Neptune as a leader, as an equal and as a leader, but I think there will be others there as well who will see the Ryukyu Kingdom's involvement in the Reverie as basically a publicity stunt. Like I really don't. I think of all the people who are going to have trouble at this Reverie, I think the Ryukyu Kingdom is going to have the most trouble in terms of its credibility almost, and maybe even Dalton and the Sakura Kingdom too, as they're the ones flying a pirate flag. But yeah, the Ryukyu Kingdom and the Sakura Kingdom for sure are the ones who are going to be facing the most scrutiny, I feel. But yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.